Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a guardian angel by your side? Not with wings, but with hooves? This is the extraordinary tale of Jack and Storm, a soldier and his horse, whose bond defied the chaos of war and the limits of loyalty. Jack had never been a man who believed in miracles. He was a soldier trained to rely on skill, instinct, and preparation. But the day he met Storm, a young chestnut stallion with a white blaze on his forehead, he began to understand that sometimes life gives you a companion you never knew you needed, and sometimes that companion can change your destiny. The chaos of war surrounded him. Explosions roared, smoke swallowed the horizon, and the earth shook beneath the weight of armored vehicles. Jack's convoy had been ambushed on a desolate stretch of road. Flames licked the sky as a military jeep flipped onto its side, erupting into a ball of fire. Soldiers scattered, ducking for cover, returning fire into the unseen hills where the enemy lay hidden. Amid the confusion, Jack's own vehicle was struck. The blast threw him to the ground, knocking the wind from his lungs. He coughed through the haze, struggling to rise. His ears rang, his vision blurred, but one sound cut through the chaos, the sharp, desperate neigh of Storm. Storm had been tethered nearby, hidden from the line of fire. When the explosion tore through the convoy, the stallion broke free, his hooves pounding the dirt as he galloped toward the inferno. Soldiers yelled, trying to wave him away, but Storm ignored them. His dark eyes were locked on Jack, who staggered helplessly near the wreckage. "Storm," Jack gasped, his voice hoarse. The stallion charged forward, weaving between flaming debris and bullets hissing through the air. The ground quaked as another vehicle erupted behind him, but Storm didn't flinch. His mane whipped like fire in the wind as he reached Jack's side. Jack clung to the horse's neck, his body heavy with exhaustion and pain. Without hesitation, Storm bolted, carrying his master away from the battlefield. Dust and smoke swallowed them as the stallion outran the chaos, every stride a defiance of death itself. For the soldiers who watched, it was an image that would never leave their memories, a man clinging to his horse as flames consumed the sky behind them. Years before that fiery day, Jack had found Storm as a foal. He had been stationed near a remote village where locals whispered of wild horses roaming the plains. One evening, after a storm tore through the valley, Jack discovered a frightened young horse caught in a broken fence. The foal's legs trembled, his coat muddy and torn. Jack approached slowly, whispering gently, offering calm in the darkness. With steady hands, he freed the foal from the twisted wire and led him to safety. From that night forward, the bond began. Jack named him Storm, a reminder of the night their paths crossed. Raising a horse during wartime was no easy task. Storm was restless, fiery, and unbroken, but Jack had patience. While others laughed at the idea of a soldier training a horse in the middle of conflict, Jack persisted. He taught Storm to trust his hand, to run when called, and to stay calm, even amid gunfire. Over the years, Storm grew into a powerful stallion. His loyalty was unmatched. He would follow Jack anywhere, and Jack knew he could depend on Storm more than any weapon or armor. Back in the present, Storm thundered across the ravaged plain, carrying Jack further from danger. Jack's grip weakened as blood trickled down his arm from shrapnel wounds. His vision dimmed, but he could feel the strength of the stallion beneath him, steady and unyielding. "Don't let me go, Storm," Jack whispered. Storm's ears flicked back at the sound of his master's voice. And he pushed harder, hooves striking sparks from the rocky ground. Behind them, another explosion split the air, sending shock waves that nearly knocked them off balance. Storm stumbled, but quickly regained his stride. His determination was raw, almost human. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Finally, the chaos faded into silence. They reached an abandoned farmhouse at the edge of the valley. Jack slid from Storm's back, collapsing onto the ground. The stallion nuzzled him urgently, refusing to let him close his eyes. That was when help arrived. Emily, a field doctor who had been stationed nearby, rushed toward the battered soldier. She gasped at the sight of the chestnut stallion standing protectively over Jack. His nostrils flared, his body tense. "It's all right," Emily whispered, approaching slowly. "I'm here to help." Storm snorted, but did not move aside until Jack weakly raised a hand. Only then did the stallion step back, though his watchful eyes never left Emily as she treated Jack's wounds. Jack survived. His injuries were severe, but thanks to Storm's courage, he lived to see another sunrise. Word of the rescue spread quickly among the soldiers. They spoke of the horse who had galloped through fire and smoke to save his master. For Jack, no medal or recognition could compare to the gift Storm had given him, life itself. As he recovered, Jack often thought back to that first night when he found the frightened foal. He realized that saving Storm all those years ago had not just given him a companion, it had given him a savior. Years later, long after the war had ended, Jack and Storm returned to the plains where their story began. The land was quiet now, the air filled not with gunfire, but with the songs of birds and the rustle of grass. Jack, older and scarred, stood beside the stallion who had never left his side. "You saved me, Storm," he whispered, resting his hand on the horse's neck. "And I'll spend the rest of my life grateful for you." Storm nickered softly, lowering his head as if he understood every word. Together, they walked into the horizon. A soldier and his horse bound not by chains of war, but by the unbreakable thread of loyalty, sacrifice, and love.